Hello there, welcome to SaberDuel Gaming, where we always take the high ground, and welcome to our retro review of Street Fighter 2. And yes, this is a retro review of the original Street Fighter 2. I know we were then bombarded with about 17 different sequels before we got Street Fighter 3, but we are focusing on the original Street Fighter 2 as seen in the arcades and the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Released in 1987, the original Street Fighter is not a game that stood the test of time. We only had Ryu, or occasionally in two-player mode Ken, to play as, and it was quite limited. However, its sequel Street Fighter 2 is an entirely different ballgame. From the start, we are given 8 different characters to play as. Each one has a completely different look, theme and style. Yes, you have Ryu and Ken, who admittedly do share the same moves overall, but all of the other characters have a completely unique feel to them. The obvious example to this is that they all have their own special moves. They also have their own themed background based on which country and environment fits their character. But it's not only that, even their own basic strikes have a completely different look to them depending on the character. Whilst one may do a roundhouse kick, another might do a vicious claw scratch with their feet. Everything is completely tailored to the character. Many of the backgrounds even have interactive environments, including barrels or crates that shatter, with this being one of the first games to ever really do this. Each fighter even had 2 different celebrations for whether they'd won the first or the second round of a fight. And what really gave people incentive to play through as each different character was the fact that this game gave each character their own story, their own reason for taking part in the Street Fighter tournament. Ryu's was obvious, it was a direct sequel to the original Street Fighter game, and in fairness, not the only tie-in to that. However, each of the other characters was given a special reason to compete and a story and different ending, making it almost a requirement to complete the game at least 8 different times. Outside the 8 main characters we play as, we were also confronted with 4 specific boss characters, all leading up to the final fight against M. Bison. These ranged in difficulty but gave you something completely different to fight against. The controls were simple and responded well, and whilst some certain special moves were a heck of a lot trickier to pull off than others, it gave the game some longevity. People wanted to master each of these special moves, especially for their favourite characters. With simple and compelling gameplay, this game consistently got scores in the 90% mark, and it won a whole host of awards, including a variety of Game of the Year awards. So with all that in mind, it's time to ask that big question. How does Street Fighter 2 hold up under modern scrutiny? And this one kinda shoots itself in the foot. You see, between 1991 and 1994, Capcom released no less than 5 different versions of this game. One just introduced the bosses as playable characters. Then we just had the Turbo Edition, making it faster, because apparently that was important. Slowly we introduced 4 new characters. And then we released that game again with the new characters and improved graphics in fairness. But again with the Turbo Edition, we just seem to constantly be improving the game, but in whole new games. Meaning that by 1994, playing Street Fighter 2 in its original form already felt painfully dated. And even with the charm that retro games always have, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo has everything that's in this, just with more. It kinda left this game behind, and even playing it now, there's a big part of me that goes, just play the other versions. All that said, maybe I'm being a little harsh. Without Street Fighter 2, modern one-on-one fighting games just wouldn't be the same. Looking back, this game certainly deserves a 6.5 out of 10, and had it not been bombarded with so many newer versions, it would have been a damn sight higher. Who was your favourite Street Fighter 2 character? Comment below, and feel free to subscribe here on YouTube, Instagram or TikTok.